Close your eyes for just a moment. Now imagine that you're driving down the road. You're heading home from work, going to the gym, or running to the store real quick to grab something for dinner. You approach an intersection that has a green light and you proceed to continue through. Then, BAM! Out of nowhere, you are T-boned on the driver's side. You immediately black out and you're not aware of what takes place in the moments after your crash. The fire department arrives and quickly works to rescue you from your car. EMS then transports you to the hospital where doctors, nurses, and techs frantically work to save your life. Several hours later, you wake up. You are in a lot of pain and have many injuries, but you are alive. Now you can open your eyes. Open your eyes. The doctor walks in and begins to explain to you the severity of your injuries. A couple broken bones, some bruises, and a few cuts. He then begins to tell you that during the accident you suffered a large laceration to your liver, and without immediate transplant you would have died. Fortunately for you, an organ donor made this possible for you. Every day there is a need for a donated organ. Every day there is a need for donated organs and without donors. Lives are lost that could have been saved. Before becoming a donor, there are a few things that you need to consider. One is the purpose of donating an organ. Second is the importance of being an organ donor. And last is how to become an organ donor. I think the one thing that prevents many people from becoming organ donors is that they don't know the reasons why they should be donors or why we need donors. There are multiple organs that can be transplanted. Donate Life at donatelife.net shares that organ donation can occur with a deceased donor who can have a kidney or who can give kidneys, pancreas, liver, lungs, heart, and intestinal organs. A living donor can give a kidney, a portion of the liver, lungs, intestines, or pancreas. There's even many tissues that can be donated, such as bones, skin, and heart valves. The cornea of the eyes can also be used. This means that for one donor, the possibility of 8 lives that could be saved. Now let's imagine, no need to close our eyes this time, but you start to become very ill. You go to the doctor and have many tests done. You are diagnosed with renal failure and your doctor talks to you about the possibility of a kidney transplant. You decide that this is the route that you want to go. Now according to Donate Life, you can join a list of nearly 124,000 men, women, and children who are also awaiting organ transplant in the United States. Now that's a pretty long list to be on. According to Gift of Life Donor Program at donor1.org, the average wait time for a kidney could be about 5 years. It's about 4 months for a heart or lungs, 11 months for a liver, and 2 years for a pancreas. The American Transplant Foundation reports at AmericanTransplantFoundation.org that an average 21 people die every day from the lack of available organs for transplant, while another name is added to the transplant list every 12 minutes. That's roughly 7,000 a year who die while waiting, while over 40,000 a year are added to the list, or 40,000 names are added to the list each year. Donate Life shares that in 2014, 29,532 organ transplants were performed. Another reason is simply that the need for organs outweighs the availability. Now, the numbers make it easy to see the reasons why we need more donors, but it's not until you can put a name to those numbers that begin to see the importance of being a donor. Some of us may have friends or family that have been recipients of donors or tissue, and get to experience and see the joy that comes with their prolonged life. Some of us may have never had that experience. I feel to truly understand the importance of being an organ donor is the stories of those who have been through the experience of being an organ recipient. Donate Life shares stories of men and women and children who are lucky enough to be recipients of a new life. The first story I would like to share with you is of Trey. Trey was a basketball coach for 22 seasons. He coached college, NBA, and some minor league basketball. Trey considered himself to be very active and healthy. He started having coughing fits, and after many series of tests and biopsies, he was diagnosed with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. And just like that, he went from being active to needing to be on oxygen 24 hours a day. And the only hope for survival was to have a double lung transplant. And he only had about 2 or 3 weeks to live. Trey's hero was a young man who unfortunately died in a construction accident. But because he was an organ donor, he was able to save Trey's life, as well as the few others, the donation of his organs, as well as the cornea and other tissue. Now Trey's living as much as normal life as he could, thanks to time spent by one person to become a donor. My next story is about Jessica. Jessica was a healthy 16-year-old senior in high school when she, out of nowhere, she had a clot that went into that got lodged in the left side of her heart, causing a massive heart attack. She was not expected to live through the night. Her doctors were able to stabilize her in hopes that she could be a heart transplant recipient. Due to the lack of organ donors, Jessica had to wait 9 months before she received her heart. Her gain was at the unfortunate loss of an 18-year-old. But with the help of this donor, Jessica was able to attend Princeton on time just 3 months after receiving her heart. She now works the organ and tissue donation field and has been for the past 7 years. I could go on with stories of how people's lives were changed by organs donors, but then we would be here all night. But it's not hard to see how important it is for organ donors, how important the organ donors were in these people's lives. Unfortunately, the cost of their extended lives came at the price of an organ donor's life. Accidents happen every single day, and lives are lost. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention report at cdc.gov, which was last updated on September 30th, 2015, for the National Vital Statistics Report, final data for 2013, shared that 192,945 people died from various types of injuries. 130,557 of those were unintentional. We hope that this would never be the case for us, but if by some unfortunate event it was, what greater gift would it be than to turn our death into life for somebody else? You've heard the reasons of why you should, and have heard the importance that it is in other people's lives today. But it is as simple as becoming an organ donor is as simple as going online. You can go to donatelife.net, you can go to donor1.org or organdonor.gov, and they will correctly register you, get you registered for your state. You can also register the next time that you renew your driver's license. But be sure to tell your family your wishes when you do. Also include your decision in your advance directives, will, and living will. It's never too late or too early to become a donor. Life is extended through donors. With the many different organs and tissues that can be used for one donor, an unfortunate event can lead to an extending those lives and help those who have been waiting months to years on the transplant list. Our gift would become a very important role in somebody else's life. Hopefully now, if you hadn't before, you see the lives that can be saved by donors all around the world. So maybe the turnaround for a liver transplant doesn't happen as quickly as we experienced in the beginning of my speech. But imagine if the majority of the victims and the accidental deaths each year were donors, how short the waiting list could be. So do your neighbor a favor and become a donor today.